Soon as I'm off work, I'll be late, but as soon as I'm off work, I'm watching this.
Shout out my nigga DREOG, my nigga. Not gonna lie, every rising I'm watching my dog video, man. Y'all shout out my nigga DREOG. Y'all go check him out, man. Good informational videos, man.
Well, welcome back to the coolest channel on YouTube. Look, man, it's been a lot of things going on in the world today, and y'all already know we're here for it. Look, positive vibes only, man. Hey, look, the earth is on fire, y'all. The earth is on fire. First, we had the what? The fog, the mist. You know what I'm saying? Did y'all pick up on the nanos? We have something in this video about that too as well, a little bit later on in it. But things are being set ablaze, man. So look, smash that like button. Let's get this video out here to your friends and families, man. Look, share this video all around. Look, positive vibes only. You know, we tribed up over here, man. Let's check this video out and let's see what's going on. Just know, if you're going through a tough time, we're going through this thing called life together. You're never in it by yourself. I kind of messed that up a little bit, but you understand what I'm saying, though. Like, we're going to get into this video, though.
I'm confused. I'm like, how is it fire in the city? Makes zero sense to me. So, I don't know. I think somebody started it. Not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I think this is something that has to be some type of plan. It doesn't make sense. I feel like somebody gotta be starting some type of fire, bro. It's no way it's happening. And it happened in Pacific Palisades. I don't know if y'all ever been to LA or been to Malibu, but the Pacific Palisades, let me show y'all something real quick. One of the most expensive places to live. Like, these houses, this is a 4-bedroom, 8,000. My house is almost the same size as this. This is not that big to be $18.9 million. Everything in the Pacific Palisades is 2.5 the lowest, 5.8, 5.9, 6.5. Like, all these houses is extremely expensive. And y'all know what happens when your house burned down? I might be wrong. I might be wrong. I might be wrong. I might be wrong. But y'all know what happens when houses burn down, right?
So y'all just seen what happened in California? Well, check this out, you guys. Insurance dropped fire coverage for California home months ago. And now what's happening in California, in Palisades, California? Multi-million-dollar homes. And now this woman's parents are dealing with this situation. This right here is one of the many situations that are about to unfold. This lady's parents are 90 years old. They have been living specifically in this residence for over 75 years. They've had the same insurance company. Tell me why that insurance company dropped them. Tell me why they dropped them a few months before this happened. Did they know this was going to take place?
This is my parents' home.
I know the feeling.
And they just they got canceled from their fire insurance. Yes. They're 90 years old. They've lived in this house for 75 years, and they've had the same insurance, and these insurance people decided to cancel their fire. And we're going through this, and it just happened, and they have no fire insurance.
Check this video out, y'all. This is in California. I caught this on the live in real time. This is right around the corner from a school. Yes, the school burned down. Also, the police station burned down. And also, there was a lot of restaurants that burned down. And then he starts walking around, y'all. You can clearly see there's a whole bunch of fires going on. Here's another one over there. Y'all see that? This is crazy. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Look at this tree. Look at that. Look, and then look at this, another building. It's all on fire, y'all. Oh my goodness. So do you guys find that fishy, right? As of last year, 2024, State Farm had ended coverage for over 72,000 homes. 72,000 homes. Don't you find that suspicious? What do you guys think about this video, y'all? Let me know down in the comments below. Like, follow, and share for more videos like this. Thank you for tuning to my frequency. Let's get this shift.
All I'm saying is it sound like somebody knew. Sound like somebody knew, and it was kind of planned just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We can't. Let's get back to it though, before we. You know they watching us.
gusts as high as 99 miles per hour fueled new destructive wildfires in the Los Angeles area overnight. You can see how the extreme winds had embers racing through this neighborhood in the Pacific Palisades. Homes and businesses burned to the ground as tens of thousands of people scrambled to evacuate, many abandoning their cars. At least 3 fires are burning in the LA area by early Wednesday with 0% containment.
Do you know where the first diamond mines were ever found, Daryl?
Oh, Paradise, California.
In Magalia. And as soon as it was the largest largest diamond mines, and immediately was bought up by the De Beers company.
So it's not the Congo, it's Paradise, California.
Well, De Beers makes all the fake diamonds. They take all the real diamonds.
Fake. They're
yeah,
fake.
oh, they're all fake, yeah. All the diamonds, sorry ladies, but all the diamonds, I did a whole video on that, it's fascinating. It's when they went down, De Beers went down to South Africa and got control of the diamond mines. Mm-hmm. It's also down in Almaden, Silicon Valley was founded because of the red mercury mines. And what we're learning is red mercury, that little red mercury, used to go create all the free energy that all the domes are run on around the world. They all had free energy with the water and the star forts and everything else. California was the paradise. That this land was fecundant. The flora and fauna, they lived with nature. The bears, the elk, the geese, everything was fecundant because the queen was ruling over it. They said originated was Queen Califia, came from this book Esplanandia, when in fact that's not true. But they have all these images of her, and they're actually resurrecting her now.
This harkens back.
Someone caught what appears to be a fucking orb flying down through the fire and smoke in California. You can clearly see it. It goes woo, look like fucking Goku flying on a motherfucking cloud. A lot of talk's been going around about this fire and what started it, and nobody got answers. But like I said, this thing was caught on live TV, and multiple people said they seen it in real life. So my question is, what is it? Y'all tell me what the fuck this is. Look. You see that shit? Look like Goku flying through the sky. I seen the slowest comment ever talk about, oh, that's just a plane trying to fight the fire. What fucking plane do y'all know that goes that close to the fucking fire and can do an angle like this through the fire like that low to the floor? I'll wait. A fuck? Who the fuck they think they kidding? Chelsea Clinton?
I'm not gonna lie to you, like it's planes aren't doing that. Planes aren't doing that. I just want to say that because it's just planes aren't doing that, y'all. You feel me? Let's get back to it.
Seen anything like this here. I grew up in Southern California. This is like nothing we've ever seen, with multiple fires raging across the LA region right now. And here in Malibu, it's truly an apocalyptic scene. We're on the Pacific Coast Highway right now, where home after home after home, beachfront properties.
A lot's about to come out. Watch for those fires. Explosions make fires too. Explosions make accidental fires too, and then oops, we don't know how that happened, and then you look into it and you see that it's tied to something that, and then you realize, oh, it wasn't just an explosion or a fire, it wasn't an accident. How many things does it take? If people can get in the streets over a convict, why the hell can't people get in the streets over the children? What is going to fuel your rage?
And to mind y'all, that's that girl that was saying that she was in the tunnels with the music artists and stuff like that, and she was being, trafficked and stuff like that. And she's been speaking about the events some of the events to come, and I think she did that one.
Can you see with the camera? What is it? Is it like a crowd? Have you guys seen eyes or something? Not coming in clear now. Is that a drone? Yeah. That's a big old drone. Gotta be 5 foot big, right? Man, this lasts a minute and a half. Takes forever.
Look like a demonstration of blue beam to me, huh? Right.
Look, Trump warned California 6 years ago, y'all. Check this video out.
Fires to be like they are. They're leaving them dirty. It's a disgraceful thing. Old trees are sitting there, rotting and dry. And instead of cleaning it up, they don't touch them. They leave them. And we end up with these massive fires that we're paying hundreds of billions of dollars for to fix. And the destruction is incredible. So I think California ought to get their act together and clean up their forests and manage their forests because it's disgraceful. What's happening should never happen. I go all over the country and I meet with governors. The first thing they say is there's no reason for forest fires like that in California. So I say to the governor or whoever's going to be the governor of California, you better get your act together because California, we're just not going to continue to pay the kind of money that we're paying because of fires that should never be to the extent. They were telling me in a couple of states, I won't even mention their name.
This is not Maui. I know that that is hard to believe, but this is not Lahaina. This is the Pacific Palisades, the aftermath after the Palisades fire, which is still 0% contained. This is drone footage of a neighborhood in between Santa Monica and Malibu. And as you can see here, the whole entire neighborhood is decimated. There is not one house standing. There is not one tree standing. Everything is charred to a crisp, just like Maui. And I'm starting to think that it's in the government playbook that every time there's a disaster in the United States, that is a cue to give more money to Ukraine. Today it was announced that Biden is going to give a final $500 million to Ukraine in military aid. I also learned today that the United States Agency for International Development, the USAID, an independent federal agency, has funded Ukraine with 16 fire departments with gear and rescue tools. Meanwhile, California has no water in the hydrants and we are just left behind. Don't worry, I'm sure we'll be offered a $750 check from FEMA. As always, I want to hear what you think about all of this down below.
It's a blessing. God sent it in me, now I'm flexing. We the ones really playing while they stress. Had the devil on my back, that was last year. You ain't tried, but I'm God's child. You don't know about the Lord, come and find out. Judgment day coming soon, don't you hide now. If you doing wrong, he gon' find out. You know what I'm reppin', G-O to the D. Go to church on Sunday just to hear the preacher preach. Vibing with the choir, cause I love to hear them sing. If I'm ever going through it, then I'm dropping to my knees. Father God, I love you, come and save me. They just raid the house, trying to take me from my babies. I've been doing good, but the devil trying to test me. If you see me falling, how your angels come and catch you. It's a blessing. God sent it in me, now I'm flexing. We the ones really playing while they stress. Had the devil on my back, that was last year. You ain't tried, but I'm God's child. You don't know about the Lord, come and find out. Judgment day.
Dinosaurs had two problems. Number one, the climate change. Number two, was probably worse, people hunted them. They killed them. Now, they didn't call them dinosaur, though. They called them dragon. See, the word dinosaur wasn't made up till 1841. So for most of human history, these creatures are called dragons. Did you know dinosaurs not even in the dictionary in 1891? For most of human history, they were known as dragons. Now, dragons are mentioned in the Bible 34 times. People say, why aren't dinosaurs in the Bible? Last night, I'm talking to this lady at the counter at the hotel. She said, well, dinosaurs aren't in the Bible. I said, that's correct. That word wasn't made up till 1841. And if you got the right Bible, that was translated 1611. So, of course, you're not going to find that word in there. Duh. But they called them dragons. Dragons are listed in the dictionary in 1946 as now rare. As the population of people began to grow after the flood, the population of dragons began to go down, because nobody wants to live next door to a dragon. Same thing happened in Cobb County, Georgia, where Atlanta is today. Do you realize how many grizzly bears there are roaming around the woods right now near Atlanta, Georgia? 0. You know how many there were just 300 years ago? Hundreds. What happened to the grizzly bears in Cobb County, Georgia? Well, as people move in and civilize an area, the big ferocious animals are killed off or driven off. Happens everywhere. Well, that's exactly what happened to the dragons. Man, if you could figure out a way to kill a dragon, they'd be telling stories about you around the campfire from now on. People kill dragons for meat because they were a menace, to prove you're a hero, to prove you're superior, competition for land, or for medicinal purposes. Many ancient recipes call for dragon blood, dragon bones, dragon saliva. Why? Why would the Chinese calendar have 11 real animals, you know, the pig, the duck, the dog, and a dragon? Why would they put a mythical animal in there? Could it be that at the time they came up with these 12 symbols, there were 12 real animals? Here's one of the oldest pieces of pottery on planet Earth. It's a piece of slate from Egypt, first dynasty of United Egypt. It shows long-necked dragons. Why would they put long-necked dinosaurs on pottery 3,800 years ago? Here's 2 long-necked dinosaurs with a sheep in between their mouths. Here's a hippo tusk from the 12th century BC showing an animal with a long neck and a long tail. Here's a cylinder seal showing what appears to quite obviously be long-necked dinosaurs.
Is this your home?
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
When did you see this?
Just about 10 minutes ago.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
We watch such good people. Could you imagine?
We got to think. Some people are saying that, okay, so I want to know what y'all thinking in the comments down below. Do you think that this is a continuation of the UAPs, the orbs? You know, do you think, look, I've been taking notes in the comments, y'all, but do you think that these are government drones, or do you think they're coming from down below and these are beings from another galaxy or dimension? No matter what you think, I want to see what you say in the comments down below. I've seen some people also say that they are dragons, but also the dragons can be traced to, you know, biblical times. We even got ancient pictures where people were walking amongst dinosaurs. We've seen everything on this channel, but you know, if you do your research, you can see that a lot of this shit is true. But at the same time, why did they lie to us about all that stuff? But we're gonna get back to this video, man. Hollywood is on fire. Do you think this is a part of a bigger ritual or natural disasters? Like,
2 of the real reason that we invaded Iraq, because you and I have been lied to our entire lives. In part 1, we talked about
hey, y'all pay attention. Look at the possibilities of this though, and it's gonna get deep.
how an archaeologist discovered the ancient city of Uruk in modern-day Iraq, and then he discovered the tomb of Gilgamesh, and coincidentally, a few months after, we invaded Iraq. Well, buckle up, because this goes so much deeper than just his tomb. Now for this video, we have to go back to the days immediately following the flood, and this brings us to Genesis 10. Genesis 10 is the genealogy of Noah. Genesis 10:1 tells us that the 3 sons of Noah were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Down it says Ham had Cush, and then Cush had Nimrod. So Nimrod in the Bible is Noah's great-grandson. Now why am I talking about Nimrod? Because Nimrod is Gilgamesh. In the Bible, we learn that Nimrod established a very large kingdom. He was essentially the first king of the world, and it also says that he ruled over all of the other sons of Noah. Now, because of this, there were many different peoples that would write about Nimrod. It was their personal account of who Nimrod was. The Babylonians wrote about him, the Assyrians wrote about him, the Hittites wrote about him. It says even in Palestine, tablets have been found with this man's name on them. He was obviously the most popular hero in the ancient Near East. And of course, the Sumerians wrote about him in the Epic of Gilgamesh. We go back to Genesis 10 to find out about Nimrod's kingdom. This is Genesis 10:8. And it says up at the top, he began to be a mighty one on the earth. We'll go back to that verse later. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. Verse 10. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar. That's southern Mesopotamia. From that land, he went to Assyria and built Nineveh, and there's more. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce them. Let's bring that verse to life a little bit. Here is a visual of Nimrod's kingdom. Down here, we have the Tower of Babel. We have Uruk, where he was found, or Erech in the Bible, the city of Ur, which is actually where Abraham was born, and then the land of Shinar. So pretty large kingdom. We're going to go back to Genesis 10:8 because it says he began to be a mighty one on the earth. This is the exact same phrase that God uses when he describes the giants in Genesis 6. So it says, there were giants on the earth in those days and also afterwards. So God is specifically telling us that the giants, these demonic hybrid beings, survived the flood. When the sons of God came into the daughters of man and they bore children to them, those were mighty men who were of old, men of renown. The Greek origin of the words describing Nimrod are exactly the same as the Greek origin of the words God used to describe the giants in Genesis 6. It is worth mentioning that the Septuagint, which is the Greek translation of the Old Testament, also says that Nimrod began to be a giant upon the earth. Now, Nimrod is talked a lot about in the book of Jasher, in the Apocrypha. And before anybody comes for me and says that we shouldn't read the Apocrypha, this is in the Bible, Joshua 10. Is it not written in the book of Jasher? 2 Samuel 1. Indeed, it is written in the book of Jasher. The authors of the Bible are referring us to other additional sources so we can find out additional information. Back to Jasher, it says, and they brought him offerings, and he became their Lord and King, and they all dwelt with
Ooh, what y'all gonna do about it? She said that. I'm instigating.
him in the city of Shinar, and Nimrod reigned over the earth and over all the sons of Noah, and they were all under his power and counsel. And all the earth was of one tongue, we know this, and words of union, but Nimrod did not go in the ways of the Lord. Here's what's interesting. He was more wicked than all the men that were before him from the days of the flood until those days. And when you read about Nimrod, this guy was disgusting. He was wicked. He was perverted. He mated with animals all the time because he couldn't control himself. He was absolutely deplorable.
He couldn't control himself, so he was just choosing to bust down animals. Is wild to me. That is a terrible dude, man. Like, I done hit my knee. Now I gotta show y'all my pants. You know, damn, I feel like I got shot in my knee, boy. I hit it on the tip of the desk, boy. Like, good. Woo! I'm sorry, y'all. Woo! Then hit the tip of my. I feel like I got shot. Help! All right, y'all. We're gonna get through the rest of this. I'm gonna stop talking junk.
Now, Nimrod actually wore the garments that Adam and Eve wore in the Garden of Eden. They were passed down to Noah, who kept them on the ark, and then he passed them down to his sons, and then obviously his sons passed them down to Nimrod. And it says here, he gave them those garments through the love for him, and Nimrod grew up, and when he was 20 years old, he put on the garments. And Nimrod became strong when he put on the garments, and God gave him might and strength, and he was a mighty hunter in the earth. Yes, he was a mighty hunter in the field, and he hunted the animals, and he built altars, and he offered the animals on them before the Lord. Now, there is no written explanation for how Nimrod became Nephilim, how he became a demonic giant. So this is my personal conclusion based upon
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't hear none of that because all I can hear is my pain.
On what I've read. We know that Nimrod, when he was ruling, he did not go in the ways of the Lord. He was more wicked than all the other men, but in his early life, he was obedient to the Lord. And when he put on the garments from Adam and Eve, God gave him power and might. So I think that all just got to his head. I think as he aged, he started to abandon the Lord and he started to serve Satan. And what does Satan do? He takes everything that is God's and he twists it in his own perverse and evil way. So I think as Nimrod started to serve Satan, Satan used that power that God had given him and somehow transformed him into this Nephilim, into this demonic giant and a completely wicked, horrible, grotesque man. Now, because he was Nephilim, he had access to Nephilim technology. And this is where we get into the conversation of the Stargate, which is a demonic portal. This is where it gets kind of crazy, and I know this is going to be a lot to take in for some people, but y'all, the truth is that we live in a spiritual world. There are angels and demons all around us at all times. They're just in a different dimension than ours. So beings like Nimrod, who were almost 2/3 demon, had access to all of this demonic technology that was beyond what we could even imagine. Now, this brings us to the Ziggurat of Ur, which is located in modern-day Iraq. Now, this is just an artist's depiction of what we think it might have looked like. This is what remains, and it was believed to have a Stargate buried underneath. This is pretty much what they look like. It's a portal to another dimension. And so all of the demonic rulers, in the ancient civilizations, they had access to all this. They had this technology, and God tells us this in the Bible. And so when that archaeologist found the tomb, found the city of Uruk, that's a red alert for our government, because there's a lot of fallen angels that rule this world, and they are in power in our world. I'm not going to say any more than that. So when they got word of Gilgamesh or Nimrod, they knew what they were looking for. But who was in their way? Saddam Hussein. Because Saddam actually thought that he was a reincarnated version of Nebuchadnezzar. In the 1980s, during the Iran-Iraq War, Saddam Hussein became obsessed with the Babylonian ruler Nebuchadnezzar. Saddam saw himself as a modern reincarnation of Nebuchadnezzar, and to prove it, he spent millions building a massive reconstruction of Babylon. In addition, he actually tried to reconstruct the ziggurat of Ur, so that means that he had the technology to the Stargate that was known to be below. Hussein either was able to get the Stargate working or learned something important from it, and Big Daddy America got concerned. The Bush administration recognized that Hussein had some very, very valuable, relevant information concerning the ancient history of the planet, either technology or text basically confirming this, and he was going to release this to the public. I think that was a big part of the reason why the Bush administration went into Iraq, to stop him from revealing this information, and to also, of course, this is what I think, control it themselves. Now, all of this sounds crazy until you actually do some digging, and you find on the CIA's website a project called Stargate. Now, this goes back many, many years, because there are many Stargates all around the world. This document obviously is from 1993, and it covers the discussion of paranormal activity. The investigations described in this report involve a class of human capabilities generally referred to as parapsychological or paranormal phenomena. There are two general types, informational and energetic. There's a lot of weird stuff in this report, and it takes some time to read through, but you can find it yourself on CIA.gov. There's this story as well from 1928. You can find this on TikTok. This man was digging underneath Egyptian pyramids. He found a Stargate, went through it, and he actually brought people with him. Time was different, so he thought he was gone for only like an hour, but he was gone for 3 days. So when he went through the Stargate or the portal, he actually went back in time to when the pyramids were being built, and he saw UFOs carrying the stones for the pyramids. He saw giants, he saw aliens, he saw Nephilim, he saw all of it, and he said it was beautiful and lush and green, and he actually saw conveyor belts. I mean, they had electricity, they had power, they had technology back then from demons, and there's many stories like this actually. There's Stargates all over our world because our world was inhabited by demons and demonic technology, and we have pyramids all over the world, and it is no coincidence that America, part of the Grand Canyon is closed off. A lot of national parks are closed off to the public, and it's a huge reason why we are lied to, because it goes back to the Bible. So we all know what a Stargate looks like, right? It's a portal. And we also know that our government went into Iraq and took the Stargate that was under the ziggurat of Ur.
What is a conspiracy theory that you cannot believe people do not talk about? Because mine is the plane of jars. And this isn't just some boring old monolithic ancient civilization that was super advanced. This is actually insane that people do not know about this. This is by far one of the weirdest things the US government has ever done, and I can't figure out why. First and foremost, there's a massive field in the country of Laos that is littered with these guys, these massive stone jars. Some of them have lids, and when I say massive, I mean 9 feet tall, 20, 30 tons in weight. And the weirdest part is not that there is a local legend telling of a race of giants who won a victorious battle over the land and then created these stone jars to make celebratory drinks. It's actually something called Operation Barrel Roll, which was a covert CIA mission. While most of the country was distracted by the war in Vietnam, the US government dropped more ordnance on Laos than all of World War II combined, and one of its primary targets was this field of jars. To give you a little perspective, that's over 2 million tons, or on average a plane load full, released every 8 minutes,
24 hours a day for almost 10 years straight. I cannot for the life of me figure out why the US government would go to such great lengths to smash a bunch of giant jars in a field to bits. So if you have literally any ideas or conspiracy theories on this topic, I would love to talk about it because no one else is talking about this, and it's kind of driving me nuts.
They've been telling us this in the cartoons and the movies. We've been saying this over and over and over again. Like, it can always be correlated back to something, for the most part.
Footage of our flat Earth from 1970 to Apollo mission. These are clips taken from 2 hours apart. You can see the ice wall and more land beyond it. Could that possibly be another world beyond it? The Apollo mission never made it past the firmament. This footage is taken from below the dome. NASA are not able to penetrate the firmament. Leaked footage from the 1972 Apollo mission of our Flat Earth Part 2. You can see land beyond the ice barrier, and this is just 1/8 of the edge in view.
Leaked footage from 1969 of our flat Earth from the Apollo 11. You can see land beyond the ice wall. This is proof.
Now, I have something interesting to say about that right there. Now, you see, I'm not saying that I believe this right here, but do you see like how things get a little weird when you start to like logically break things down? Let me know if y'all tracking. Like, all right, for instance, say, what if we were on use your imagination. What if we were on a bigger piece of land than what we know? That's some people's theory, right? What if this Earth is bigger than what they say it is? And there's many of these Earths on here encased in a dome, like it described itself in the Bible and everything else, right? All right. What if the way to these other universes or Earths, whatever you want to call it, they all got separate names, whatever, is through the water, through stargates and stuff like that? And what if we keep manufacturing weapons of mass destruction that'll destroy the planet, is also destroying theirs too as well? So it's not just in the multi-dimensional facet. It's like we're actually here on a planet with other motherfuckers, and like they tearing up this side of the planet. We hate these people. What if that's why we can't access the portals no more? Because we're terrible and we need to work on ourselves. And they put us in the corner and said, look, keep an eye on these niggas. And they called us all niggas, and that's what they call us out here in the universe. Yeah, that's where the niggas stay. I'm just playing. Look, gay. Hey, let's get back to it, though. It's possible, though. We're terrible. Okay? See? They watching.
I'm working this job. I came out on the deck to look at the ocean, and I saw this semicircle of lights that keeps flickering on and off. What the fuck is that?
Now, I know this ain't a Reese's peanut butter cup paper on his nose.
That's so random.
I know it wasn't. Is that what it is? Is that a Reese's Pieces peanut butter cup on his nose? Because I ain't got high and found out what that was. That's what it was. Y'all better tell me.
I see up and down my timeline, I'm like, these dolls look exactly like my sister. Fugglers, we're coming for you, okay? We're suing your entire club.
Sit down. It is time to batify some fugly fugglers. My desk is kind of dirty, so shut up. I love it. I love this one more. Thought I forgot about all the
This is so fugly. Girl want me to make these ugly ass fugglies. They're very ugly. Now you tell.
all I'm thinking is like, don't fall. Like, you fall is whatever that is that's screaming back there like that. It's gonna get your ass. Oh yeah, it's gonna get your ass. You shouldn't have been in them woods late at night like that anyway. But hey, the bike skills was crazy. But if you had to pull off on a monster, that's how you pull off on them and you ride like that. That's how you drive. Goddamn, that's crazy. People feel it was over for them, boy. I tell you.
What's your name? What? What is your name? Tony! Fuck you, Tony! What's your name? Ezekiel! Fuck you, Ezekiel! Fuck you! Fuck you! Hey, you know what I did last night? You better not bring my mother into this! You know what I did? You better not! I put that fire over there! Oh! And I thought you mother next to it! Fuck you, Ezekiel! Fuck you! Fuck you! What's your name?
Hey, stuff like that. Hey, still hope for humanity, man. People like that. We need to make the shift. Everybody like that need to make the shift, man.
Leah, calm down, baby. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down.
I'm gonna die!
Malia, calm down.
Mommy, don't let me die! Don't let me die!
Leah, calm down, baby. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down.
I'm gonna die!
Malia, calm down.
Mommy, don't let me die! Don't let me die!
Did you know that ancient books banned by the church reveal that God was actually terrified of Adam? Yeah, you heard me right. God, the allegedly all-powerful creator of the universe, was scared of a single man. Hidden Gnostic scriptures like the Apocalypse of Adam, On the Origin of the World, and the Secret Gospel of John expose secrets that have been kept from us for centuries. And these texts were so terrifying to the church that they tried to destroy them all and persecuted anyone who had them as heretics. We're going to uncover why Adam was such a threat to God and how this ancient knowledge can transform your understanding of reality. And by the end of this video, you'll find out that it reveals the truth about what you really are, a truth that the church doesn't want you to know. Have you ever felt like there's a deeper truth about your existence that you're not being told? Well, what if I told you that you have a hidden potential that's been deliberately kept from you? See, I'm an ex-Christian, and I was always taught that Adam and Eve's story was about disobedience and punishment. But when I left the church and started exploring these ancient books, I found a completely different story. See, the Apocalypse of Adam is a book that gives us a very different picture and tells the story from Adam's point of view. And in it, Adam reveals something huge. Are you ready? There are actually two gods, the true God of light and a false satanic God of darkness. The true eternal God, which is a mind of divine light and the foundation of existence, is hidden. The evil false God is the creator of the material world and none other than the God of the Bible. This book starts with Adam speaking to his son Seth. So I'm sure that you've heard of Cain and Abel, but Seth, who's Seth? Well, we'll get to that soon, and it's important and it ties everything together. But first, we need to know what Adam tells him. So Adam tells Seth about how he and Eve were originally beings of light, full of divine knowledge, and directly connected to the eternal higher realm of light. Adam said, "When God created me out of the earth, along with Eve, your mother, I went about with her in a glory which she had seen in the eon from which we had come forth. She taught me a word of knowledge of the eternal God, and we resembled the great eternal angels, for we were higher than the God who had created us, and the powers with him, whom we did not know." Wait, what? Adam and Eve were originally higher than the God who created them? But how does that make sense? Well, you'll notice that Adam makes a distinction between the God who created him out of the earth versus the eternal God. Adam said, the eon from which we had come forth, meaning that God of the Bible didn't actually create Adam, he just made Adam's body. But if our bodies are just shells, then what are we really? What's our true nature? See, originally Adam and Eve were beings of light and knowledge, and their true selves originated from a divine realm, the realm of the true God. In Gnosticism, it was known as the pleroma. It was only their physical forms that were created by the false satanic God. But it gets even crazier than this. Adam continues, "Then God divided us in wrath. Then we became two eons." So this God, angry and jealous of their power, actually divided Adam and Eve. In other words, Adam and Eve were originally one unified being, but they were put into physical bodies and split apart, stripping them of their divine glory and knowledge. So what if the story that we've always known about Adam and Eve is actually about a jealous God trying to control them by dividing the power? After all, doesn't the biblical story where God God makes the tree of knowledge forbidden make a lot more sense when it's understood as an attempt to keep them from gaining knowledge. Doesn't make sense otherwise. Adam goes on, "The glory in our hearts left us, me and your mother Eve, along with the first knowledge that breathed within us, and it fled from us." So they lost all their knowledge, leaving them ignorant, and this was a calculated move by the evil ruler to ensure that they stayed under his control. Adam then describes how they lost their memory and forgot about the eternal God of light and what they actually were. The Apocalypse of Adam says, "After those days, the eternal knowledge of the God of truth withdrew from me and your mother Eve. Since that time, we learned about dead things like men. Then we recognized the God who created us, and we served him in fear and slavery." Adam and Eve forgot what they truly were, and so they submitted to the lesser God who created them. So growing up, when I was a Christian, I always felt that there was a deeper truth that we weren't being told, that there was something just beyond our reach. And reading books like these made me feel like I was uncovering layers of a hidden reality, one where we're not just lowly sinners, but where our potential is infinitely greater than anything that we've been told. What if the true story of Adam and Eve is actually about a cosmic struggle for control? But wait a minute, this book, The Apocalypse of Adam, it starts more or less in the middle of the story. Where did Adam actually come from? What was he before he became trapped in a body? Well, the book, On the Origin of the World, describes what happened before humans and even the physical world were created. According to On the Origin of the World, the universe is much more layered and complex than the simple creation story that we know from the Bible. Like the Apocalypse of Adam, this book reveals that Adam was originally a being of light, known as an eon, and was infinitely more powerful than the Creator God, who is not the true God. The true God is the source, a realm of pure light, while the false God is a lower, ignorant being of darkness who's named Yaldabaoth and was the chief ruler of chaos. So we know most of that already. But let's go back even further. According to On the Origin of the World, before Adam was trapped in a material body, he was an emanation from the true God of light and had the knowledge and power and ability to create and shape reality itself. And this terrified Yaldabaoth because it threatened his supremacy. The Origin of the World says, Adam of light created a great eternal realm for himself. In that eternal realm, he created 6 realms and their worlds, 6 in number, which are 7 times better than the heavens of chaos and their worlds. Notice this passage calls him Adam of light to emphasize this isn't the Adam that we know in a physical body. It's the divine Adam, a god that's so powerful that he created realms and worlds that were 7 times better than anything that Yaldabaoth could create. And this infuriated Yaldabaoth, who wants to be seen as the only god. Think about it. In the Bible, God claims that there are no other gods besides him, like in Isaiah 45:5, where he says, I am God, the only God there is. Besides me, there are no real gods. But On the Origin of the World tells a different story. Yaldabaoth is often called the chief creator, and he has dark servants known as archons. So when the archons see that Adam is a more powerful god, they laugh at Yaldabaoth. On the Origin of the World says, before Adam of light withdrew in the chaos, the authorities saw him. They laughed at the chief creator because he lied, saying, I am God, and there is no other God but me. When they came to him, they said, is this not the God who ruined our work? So this paints a very different picture from the Bible. Here, the authorities, or archons, are mocking Yaldabaoth because he claimed to be the only God. And they pointed out that Adam is clearly a far more powerful God that puts their creations to shame. So what did they do? They came up with a plan. On the Origin of the World continues. Yaldabaoth answered and said, yes, but if you wish that he not be able to ruin our work, come, let's create a human being from the earth to serve us, so that whenever this being sees his likeness, he may become enamored of it. Then he will no longer ruin our work, but we shall make those who are born from the light our servants through all the time of this age. The idea was that if Adam became trapped in the body, he would become so blind and forgetful and distracted by the material world that he wouldn't realize what he really was. And so the archons could then continue to trap more souls of light in bodies to enslave humanity. So according to this book, the creation of humanity wasn't out of kindness or love, but a move to control and manipulate. Now there's another forbidden book called The Secret Book of John, and this sheds more light on this. It says, Yaldabaoth's demonic forces envied the man His understanding was far greater than that of those who had created him, and greater than that of the chief ruler himself. When they realized that he shone with light and could think better than they could, they took him and cast him down into the lowest depths of the material world. Yaldabaoth made Adam completely forgetful. So Adam's light and intellectual power were so intimidating that the rulers were driven by fear and envy, and they tried to suppress his potential by trapping him in the physical realm, causing him to forget his divine nature. Now, I want you to remember that the Apocalypse of Adam says that God divided Adam and Eve into two beings to divide their power. The secret book of John agrees with this as well, but what does that really mean? Well, Adam represents the power of the mind, while Eve represents something called epinoia, which is a bit like intuition and the ability of the mind to think about itself. So this division allowed Yaldabaoth to keep Adam and Eve from self-reflecting and realizing their divine nature, keeping them in a low state of consciousness. But hold on, let's go back, because here's where everything connects and brings you into the story. Remember in the Apocalypse of Adam, Adam is telling all this to his son Seth? Well, this is key. Normally you hear about Cain and Abel, so what made Seth different? Well, there's a darker story here. According to the secret book of John, Cain and Abel were the result of the evil God forcing himself on Eve. So they were born out of an act of violation and represented the flawed creation of Yaldabaoth. But Seth was different. Seth was the true son of Adam and Eve. Now, why is this so critical? Because Seth represents the union of Adam and Eve after they were divided. In other words, Seth had the power to reflect on himself and realize his divine nature. Well, what does this have to do with you? Well, after God flooded the world, the only humans that were left were descendants of Seth. In other words, according to Gnosticism, we're all descendants of Seth. This means that every single one of us carries within us the potential to awaken that divine spark, to reconnect with the higher realms that we're originally from. So Seth symbolically represents the ability to understand what we truly are. He symbolizes the reunion of the divided power of Adam and Eve. Through Seth, this divine spark continues, and Seth's descendants aren't just physical beings, but carriers of divine light. So this is why Seth is so significant. He represents the potential for humanity to awaken and realize our true nature. But here's where it gets even more fascinating, because many who followed these ancient books believed that Jesus was the incarnation of Seth. So Jesus didn't come as a savior from sin, but as a revealer of knowledge, a guide to help us remember our true nature. So Jesus' teachings, many of which were suppressed by the early church, point towards this radical idea of self-realization and divine awakening. So he taught that the kingdom of God is within us, and that we have the potential to awaken and realize our divine nature. So if Jesus was teaching us to become like gods, to awaken the divine spark within us, what does that say about the mainstream religious lies that we've been fed for centuries? If we understand that Jesus' true message was about awakening our divine nature, then the fear of Adam by God makes more sense. God was terrified of Adam because he knew that within humanity lay the seeds of divine rebellion, the potential to awaken and overthrow the false creator. The fear of Adam by God, as depicted in these ancient books, isn't just about one person. It's about the potential of all humanity, the divine spark within us that could ignite, leading to a mass enlightenment that would render the false god powerless. Now, if we accept that we have a divine spark within us, the question is, how do we awaken it? In the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus says, "When you know yourselves, you will understand that you are children of the living Father." This means that self-knowledge is the key to unlocking our divine potential. By truly knowing ourselves, we can realize our inherent divinity. In the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus also said, "If they say to you, 'Where have you come from?' say to them, 'We have come from the light, from the place where the light came into being by itself. We are its children." Now, it's critical to understand that these ancient books are metaphors and symbolic. These events didn't actually happen. They're stories to help us realize what we really are. Adam and Eve are depicted as beings of light, and this symbolizes the divine knowledge and connection to the higher realms that humans possess. They're a metaphor for divine connection. Now, Seth as the son of Adam and Eve represents our ability to self-reflect and discover that inner divinity. And Christ represents the activation of this inner divinity, Christ consciousness, a higher state of mind. So Yaldabaoth isn't actually the creator of the material world. Yaldabaoth represents ignorance and the obstacles that keep us from fully realizing our potential. So modern day Christianity can be seen as a tool of Yaldabaoth. It's a false light that has twisted the message of Christ and perpetuates the ignorance of our true nature, keeping us locked in bondage. The original message was one of self-realization and divine awakening. We're not meant to be Christians. We're meant to be Christ's. You're not just a mere human being. You are a being with divine potential, a spark of the eternal source that's capable of awakening to a higher consciousness and challenging all the falsehoods and lies that have kept you bound. You have within you the power to transform your reality, to break free from the chains of ignorance, and to become what you were always meant to be, a divine being, enlightened, powerful, and free. Make sure that you like this video and subscribe. Check out my other videos. And if you want to help my channel grow, become a member on Patreon or YouTube for weekly members-only videos. And I want to give a big shout out to everyone who supports. My name is Morg, and I am Neogenian.
We gotta think, man. I love watching videos from a different perspective and a different type of breakdown. So I invite these type of videos onto the channel for us to dissect, for us to ingest, for us to, you know, see what's going on, to see it from a different perspective, because that's important for well, in my journey of growth, is to really put my shoes in other people's shoes, put my feet in other people's shoes, and see where they're coming from before I jump on a train to demoralize them and tell them how bad of a person they are. You know, everybody's on their own journey, their own path, and I just like to be receptive and respectful of everybody else's journey. So I never try to force what I believe on somebody. I can give you my perspective, and you know, you can take that with a grain of salt. But everybody's on their way, man, and I implore y'all to get out here, man, you know, do something different, get out your comfort zone, and just, you know, enjoy life as it is, man. We still got people out here that's, you know, fighting over the color of your skin and stuff like that. You know, it's like, bro, we're getting nowhere. They got us focused on all the wrong things when there's bigger events happening right in front of our faces, but we're getting so desensitized to all of the violence and all of the weird happenings and the weird responses from the people that's supposed to, you know, care for the country. You got the president saying some shit about becoming a grandfather in the times of people being burned up, people's properties being burned up on our soil, but then in return of that, we're giving massive amounts of money to foreign countries to fight wars. You would think it's us. But anyway, look, man, let me know how y'all feel about this video right here, man. Where's the fires coming from? Is it the same sentiment as Maui, I meant? I don't know. Y'all let me know. There's no blue roofs on this one. There's a lot of trees still standing, but I've heard that too. Like, why are the trees still there? Well, they're burnt to a crisp, but they will survive because they're more resilient. They're full of water, I guess, right? I don't know. I'm gonna leave that shit alone, but I'm gonna let this video right here rock, man. I appreciate y'all for tapping in, and I see y'all in the next video, man. If y'all got something from this video, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what y'all want to see next. There's gonna be many more events that are gonna be, you know, rolling out, and I'm gonna continue to cover them, and we're just gonna continue to discuss, y'all. So I'm gonna be putting out the latest and greatest, and y'all make sure that y'all got y'all notifications on. Share these videos with your friends and families, and like I always say, spread love, because there's too much hate out here. Love you guys. See you in the next video, and I'm out though. Bye.